To 9 o'clock. Let me paint you a scenario. Here's a story of woe. When we had stage 6 power cuts, it was affecting all the backup batteries at your closest cell phone tower. They have died. Now, here's the problem for you. What do you do if you need to get connectivity, either for work or, in a worst case scenario, hopefully this doesn't happen, an emergency, and you can't send a WhatsApp, you can't SMS, you can't even phone because the cell phone towers have died and their backup batteries have died? Or, let's be honest, maybe you just want to watch your favorite series, because what else are you going to do in the dark? Well, Arthur Goldstuck from World Wide Worx joining us about possible solutions. Hello to you, Arthur. Please be the bearer of good news. Give us your sage advice. How do we keep streaming Netflix in the dark?
Hey, good morning, Gareth. The solution, unfortunately, is all about throwing money at the problem. So if you can afford it, there are great solutions around. And because our business depends on connectivity and never going down, and, for example, giving an online talk or an interview like this and load shedding kicks in, we would look pretty dark if we also suddenly lost our connectivity. So our approach was to invest in an inverter that powers our fiber, and also that powers our Wi-Fi routers, and then little power banks that power our extenders. So there's a vast range of price difference between those various solutions. And what we also had to do, because the fiber provider also goes down from time to time, especially when their power is down and their generator runs out of power. So we got a wireless broadband link called ATM, not the one that you get money from. It's one you pour money into. It's actually a microwave connection. So we use a service called Console, combine it with a fiber provider called AfriHost, and those are fused together by a service called Fusion Broadband, where the combined power of both, or combined broadband speed of both, are added together. But if either of them goes down, thanks to the inverter that is plugged into those systems, it automatically switches over to the other. So it's not a cheap solution, but it's not hugely expensive. For a small business, it's affordable. And I think you'll see more and more companies coming up with these kinds of solutions. That was the first in South Africa that provided what we called bulletproof broadband. And that, of course, then in turn lets you stream your Netflix onto your laptops or other devices. So if you want to run your TV off the inverter, you probably need a separate inverter for that. But just to get your connectivity sorted, there is a solution if you are willing to pay the price.
Yeah, if you're willing to pay the price. Arthur, I'm going to ask you to give me those names again. There's a little bit of a behind the curtains into broadcasting. We would use something known as a bonding unit, where you're taking a couple of signals, putting it together with one power supply. But I can't even imagine what our broadcast bonding units cost for our reporters out in the field. You don't want to be paying that kind of money. So just give me those names again, because I know someone at home is watching and going, wait, please ask Arthur for the names again. So just give it to us again.
So it's exactly what you guys have, but at a fraction of the price. So the service that bonds them is called Fusion Broadband, and it actually fuses together the different connections. The microwave signal we get is from Console, and that gets beamed to us from a few kilometers away. So they're in a different load shedding time zone, and it's very rare for them to go down. They also have generators, but if our power goes down in our area, they probably have power in their area. And that is bonded with a fiber connection from AfriHost. It can be from any fiber provider, of course. We just find them the most reliable. And so it's a combination of those. And then the inverter is a fairly cost-effective one, costs under 10,000 Rand. It's a 1.4 kilowatt inverter called G-Wiz from a company called Mustec. And the combined solution for installation will cost probably less than 15,000 Rand, and then there's a monthly subscription cost for those services as well. But as I say, for a small business in particular, it's well affordable, and for a home with multiple breadwinners, it's also accessible. It's not for the average person in the street, but certainly for your home that can afford it, and for any small business that has strong connectivity needs or high connectivity needs.
Well, if you think about it, I'll leave this as my last question as well, because when you look at a real case scenario, I'm sure it's happened to you, it's happened to me as well. I'm not one of those people that generally carries cash around on me, so I'm one of the tap your card and go. And even the small, I think they're called pay points. It's your little ATM machines that you have to use when that connectivity goes down. So this is exactly what you're talking about. Even a small business, just to pay for a cup of coffee, that's the market that you're going after here.
Exactly. No small business needs to be out of power if they are generating regular revenue, and they need to keep generating that revenue, because this kind of investment will pay for itself simply by being able to continue operating through the 2 to 4 hours of load shedding that's going to be facing every business every day. Just by the way, the other end of the scale, the power banks that power our Wi-Fi are a small little devices, 8,000 to 8,800 milliamp hours, they call it, MAH, and they cost about 500 Rand if you shop around online in particular.
Yeah.
And we invest in a bunch of those as well. So
this is why we get you. This is why we get you on the show, Arthur, because you're able to dumb it down for people like me with words like MAH. I'm busy taking a shopping list down as I'm talking to you, and it was great to have Arthur on the show. So they're actually practical solutions as well. It's not these, how do we fix the cell phone connectivity? We can't control all that, and that's why Arthur is so right. Do what you need to do for your small business. There are ways of doing it. He gave us the names. We'll see if we can't get this uploaded to our YouTube channel as well. So if you want those names again, either go follow Arthur on Twitter, by the way, or go find him on social media. Also look for World Wide Worx. My thanks to Arthur Goldstuck, as always. Great information, great advice from Arthur from World Wide Worx.